Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. My name's David. This is my channel. Today's video, raise your vibration by letting go of opposition. Letting go of opposition in our mind. We know that the ultimate goal here is to raise our vibration to that of our source. We were high vibration before we came into this body, and we lowered our vibration to come into this body, to experience pretty much something seemingly impossible, which is everything outside, very separate. Therefore, we created this idea of fear and opposition and threat. Something can oppose me and I can oppose it. However, if you look at the idea of God, the idea of source, one source, one God, one energy force, how can it oppose itself? How can it destroy itself? Or how can it create any opposition within itself? So from a spiritual standpoint, we start understanding that there is no opposition. As you look at energy and study it more, you'll see that there is no opposing force in it. Positive and negative and electricity need each other in order to flow electricity. They can't do it with one. So what seems like opposites always come together and flow. Now with matter, it seems that there is an opposition. Now I've learned through experiencing and working with what we call chi, which is just a higher energy, a higher vibration of energy in the body or in the mind being expressed through the body, that the higher the energy goes or the higher the vibration goes, the more we stick. And you can kind of see it. There's this sticking energy. No longer is it banging off. It moves and flows. And even if the person doesn't have that higher vibration, I can still stick to them and move them from my higher vibration. So we start understanding, okay, high vibration creates connection. Lower vibration creates what we would call the illusion of separation. We can't truly separate, but we can certainly make it seem like it. If I take my hands like this, they'll start moving. Can you see the difference? Now they're sticking together, also becoming more powerful. But if I go here, they seem to be pushing against each other. See, it's all right here in front of us. Even with matter, that idea of magnetism, the idea of coming together and flowing through energy, through physics, everything is starting to understand that although this world seems to oppose itself, it's actually flowing together perfectly as one source, moved into many different forms. Now, the idea of spirituality or enlightenment or awakening is understanding this concept that there is no opposition. It's the same concept in Tai Chi. It's to understand there's no opposites. Once you realize there's no opposition, you'll stop opposing the different parts of your body and they will start flowing together. Once we truly believe there's no opposition in our life, well, won't we stop pushing against it? Think about what perfect trust, which is no opposing forces, I just trust everything. What would that include? Well, there'd be no worry, there'd be no doubt, certainly no fear, because fear comes from opposition, from war, from attack, threat. But what if there is no threat? Yeshua says in the Course in Miracles, that which is real cannot be threatened, and that which is not real does not exist. Therein lies the peace of God. It cannot be threatened. If it cannot be threatened, it must connect. So there's this feeling of high vibration connects and low vibration once again seemingly disconnects, but essentially creates the illusion of separation. The world doesn't feel like it's one with us anymore, right? Your creations don't seem like they're flowing from within you. So there's an illusion of I'm small and everything else is big. That's a low vibration way of seeing it. Now, the ego part of us takes advantage of that by splitting off the wholeness of who you are into one little tiny part and saying, this is all that I am. This is it. Just this little tiny perspective. It doesn't see the bigger perspective anymore, and then it hides it, so to speak, from you, so you can't see it. You can't see all the things behind the scenes that are going on in your life. So when something comes in that seems to push against you, and we push against it, we don't see the attraction. We don't see the vibrational part of it that brought it to us in order to heal or in order to let go of a belief that we don't want. We don't see the beginning of it, the continuation of it, everything flowing. We don't see the magical flow and connection of all that is, that we are all a part of, that we all share, that brought it to us. We just see that little tiny part that seems to oppose us. But with this understanding and truth, as you look more and more at the idea of energy, cannot oppose, you will let go of this viewpoint and belief that we have inherited, that we are form. We are a body and not spirit. And the more we believe we're a body, the more we believe we do have the ability to oppose, because that's what bodies seem to do. Through understanding energy and raising my vibration in Tai Chi and martial arts and realizing there was a sticking and a connecting element to this, I started realizing that I was way more energy and spirit than I was supposedly body. And I recognized that if my vibration changes, my whole form changes. As I started moving into my life and using that into my world around me, I started raising my vibration, matching to that of the whole perspective of who I am, and the world started shifting. Everything around me seemed very different. Things started becoming more one with me. The mind activity started slowing down. When the mind activity was no longer against me in terms of threat, then the holy mind turned on and I started hearing it. From my perspective, things became very broader. I want to offer that to you, to each one of you, that the only thing that stops us from raising our vibration up and being able to experience the wholeness is the opposition that we hold towards our life and our creations and our brothers and sisters. That right and wrong mind that can only see a little tiny perspective. I want you to imagine that. One tiny perspective that we can see. We don't see the vibrational part of it. We don't see where it came from and how the organizational principle of how it put it together, the synchronicity. We don't see other people's perspective and how they all flow in it, not to mention where it's going and what it's going to turn into. Right now, as we sit here, you and I, what's going on behind the scenes? What's being collected and put together in your life? What's flowing in? What's wanting to flow in? What seems to be stopping certain things from flowing in? These are all seeming to be invisible to us, aren't they not? But does it mean they're not there? We can look at a little tiny piece of the earth, or we can zoom out and see the whole thing. From someone in the middle of the storm, they can get upset and frustrated from that storm, but someone from a big, broader perspective that knows what the storm is serving and how it's going to work and flow and how it serves the whole would see it very differently, wouldn't they? So is it possible, and this is all that I offer, and this has helped me a lot, to recognize the broader perspective through faith. That's what faith is. That's what Jesus was talking about when he said, love thy neighbor. He was talking about there's no opposition. So love, don't fight, don't oppose. Don't move against anything because you move against yourself. And the more we let go of opposition, our vibration will rise of its own, and we will find trust. Think about this. All of us part of a much, much, much bigger machine-like vibrational energy force of wholeness, bringing all this together, somehow putting us all together because we share everything. Everything. We share our thoughts. We share all things. That which we are only knows to share, never to hold on to. and to hide. That's why it doesn't feel good to hold on to things and hide them. It feels good to share them. Share truth, to share love with your creations, to believe and have faith, to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams, and to believe in your success and your prosperity and your abundance and your health and your wholeness. Because to share is to give to yourself. To share with the sonship, to share with all that is to give back to all that is. And that's you. So that trust. Is it possible that the problems that perhaps you face, even the pain in the body, is simply because we don't trust that it's working out for us? That we can only see one little tiny perspective that the ego holds in front of us, and we believe it to be true. Even though there's a broader, much, much bigger perspective that if we could see it, if you could put the glasses on, or rather lose the veil, because where we come from, we could see it. Just here, we can't. And as we can't see it, we no longer believe it. And we lose who we are. I've learned in my life that surrender and the ultimate goal of this lifetime, to bring our vibration down so therefore we can cut off much, much bigger, broader perspective that we're used to, is simply to, when we shouldn't choose love, we do. When I should be afraid, I feel strong. You see, by faith, by belief in who I am. When it's really difficult to have faith and trust that things are going to work out, I still do. Can you? Believe and have faith no matter what the circumstances that seem to be pushing against you. Can you remember who you are and not go to that victim place, that separate place that the ego tells you based on one little tiny perspective? And I want you to think about that. A little tiny perspective that cannot see anything. Don't you believe there's a broader perspective inside you, inside your mind, that wants to share the truth with you? All of us. As we learn to raise our vibration, you will feel it. You will become one with it. But in order to raise our vibration, this is where it gets tricky in the spiritual journey. We have to have faith that it exists. We have to believe in the unseen. We have to choose love in the midst of fear. We have to choose health when things seem to be pushing against us in our body. We have to choose clarity in the middle of confusion. We have to choose flow when we feel stuck. We have to believe that we're seeing it incorrectly. I'm seeing something from a small perspective. I can't see the broader perspective, but I know who I am by faith. I know that there's a part of me that understands this. I know that all things are working out for me. And then you will feel it, because as you speak truth, we are human lie detectors, so to speak, in our energy. As you speak truth that aligns with that of the Holy Spirit inside, you will feel it. Your vibration will rise and your energy will flow. And that which was stopping the energy will dissipate. And you'll feel it inside. Choose love, even when it's difficult. Choose trust, even when it feels like it's against you. As Jesus said when they asked, how many times do we forgive? He says, you never stop. You forgive them. They do it again. You forgive them. You do it again. You forgive them. Why? Because it's your energy at stake here. When you oppose anything, you move against that of the energy of the universe, that which is yourself, and you only oppose yourself. You lower your vibration. And the ultimate goal is to raise that vibration through trust, love, unconditional love, and faith, and eventually knowledge. Take that with you. I hope that you're able to resonate with this. Of course, if you do, please send me a comment. I love hearing your comments. Hit the like button if it's speaking to you, and subscribe. And as always, my unconditional love and appreciation to you all.